Yes, people, and welcome back to the Rams Dan. It's been a long time since I last uploaded something on the channel, so I do apologize for that. I'll make sure I'll upload something in the next couple of weeks. Try to be more consistent with what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm getting told off by people like JJ, Flawless, and even Monts like that. So I try and do my thing as much as possible. And yeah, we'll go from there. Obviously, Saturday was a very eventful evening for Liverpool Football Club. Obviously, we had our first defeat in the last 18 competitive matches we've had, which goes back to mid-March of 2023. So that run was ended by Tottenham in very, very, very controversial circumstances. And I'll delve into that straight away. We'll keep this thing moving. First of all, the housekeeping stuff. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment on your own thoughts of the game, own thoughts on what's happened afterwards. And obviously subscribe to the channel and make sure you get this out there to all the people that you know, whether it be your family, your friends, your pet, your dog, your cat, your hamster, whatever. But let's keep this moving. We'll get straight into the actual game itself. So Liverpool v Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. First half, in the first 20 minutes, it was, in my opinion, a more dominant display from Liverpool. I think we kept the ball well. I think we created a couple of really good chances. But the first point of controversy, Curtis Jones tries to win the ball back, then tries to do a little bit of a Cruyff turn to get the ball away from Yves Bissouma, ends up going over the ball and catching Yves Bissouma in the ankle, and the referee ends up giving a yellow card for that challenge. However, VAR comes along and asks the referee, Simon Hooper, to actually have a look at the footage again and maybe reverse his decision and overturn it to a red card instead. They do so. Simon Hooper looks at the video. Obviously, the slow-mo, the actual point of impact doesn't look good. Curtis Jones has nothing really to say, and he ends up getting sent off in the end. And I'll get to my thoughts. I'll get to my thoughts on all these decisions later on in the video. I'll just quickly go through the synopsis of the actual game. Second point of interest. Mo Salah takes the ball on the right-hand side, tries to cut inside onto his left foot, up against Udogie, plays a beautiful cutting ball in towards Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz runs onto the ball, goes towards the goal and tucks away on the left-hand side inside the post of the Tottenham goal. And next thing you know it, the linesman ends up flagging his flag, saying that it was an offside goal. VAR does this thing and say, no, check complete, continue with the game. I'll get to that point later on after this synopsis because it gets funnier and it gets annoying afterwards the more I think about it. Next part, Maddison takes the ball in the middle of the park, does a little run and plays a beautiful cutting ball that cuts the line between Matip and Gomez and plays it towards Richarlison. Richarlison tucks it back into the penalty area and Son is there to latch home Tottenham's first goal of the game. Obviously, Liverpool in traditional style will try to get back into the game, and they successfully do with a beautiful cross into the box by Szoboszlai. Van Dijk gets his head onto it, puts it back into the penalty area. Cody Gakpo takes the ball in his stride, spins around, ends up putting the ball in the back of the net. But in doing so, ends up injuring his left knee, which turns out to be, I don't know whether it's a MCL strain or even a little bit of a knee problem. We don't know to the exact extent of the injury, but it don't look good. It don't look good for Cody Gakpo, and I hope the guy gets a speedy recovery because we're going to need him in the crunch time of the November-December period. So after that, we end up making a change. It had to be done because he couldn't continue on. So we end up bringing on Diogo Jota on. Personally, for me, I would have rather see Darwin Nunez come in, but there were talks from Klopp's camp and also from the Liverpool camp that Nunez was not ready and there was a knee problem that he sustained with Uruguay in September that may be a bigger problem if we don't get it treated. So we end up resting him and bringing on Diogo Jota, which I'm fine with. Jota is a very handy player to have, and he's also a very good player, and he is the quality of player that is good enough to help us win this football match. Then we get on to the second half. Again, even with 10 men, we still had the best opportunities. Tottenham really didn't make much of the dominant possession that they had. And we've had probably the better chances. But obviously, Salah doing his thing, getting onto the ball, cutting inside, trying to score as many goals, try and score a goal as possible. But the third incident of controversy that happens was Jota tries to track back and tries to track the run of Udogie, and Udogie ends up falling to the ground, and Jota is given a yellow card. Obviously, Jota looked a bit perplexed, a bit surprised at the fact that they've actually got a yellow card for something that he actually didn't do. In the end, it is actually shown that Jota had zero contact with Udogie, and the fact is Udogie ended up tripping over his own feet. That's how mad it is. And just to add salt to the wounds, Udogie ends up doing the gesture of the yellow card gesture to the referee, which has been given as a rule that referees give a yellow card for players that do that. And in that process, Udogie was already on a yellow card, so he should have got a red card. So that adds salt to the wound, in my opinion. If that is a rule, then you've got to implement that rule. And they didn't. So that's by the by. A minute later into the game, Jota ends up getting the ball. Gomez ends up bursting forward down that right-hand side, even though I do question there was no point in it. There was not really a passage of play to happen, so he could have stayed back if necessary. Jota ends up losing the ball to Yves Bissouma. Bissouma starts driving into the penalty area, and Jota very stupidly and foolishly ends up catching Bissouma and gets his second yellow card of the game. Now, I have no problems with this. This is a categorically cast iron fact that it was a yellow card. It was a stupid decision by Jota, and that is something that he needs to reflect on, because at the end of the day, he cost us the game. He cost us the game, in my opinion, because Klopp was ready to bring on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Darwin Núñez to the team. And obviously, everyone knew what happened against Newcastle. Darwin Núñez ends up morphing into Darwin Torres and ends up scoring 2 goals and helping us win at St. James's Park. I guarantee you that was the exact plan that was going to be implemented in this game. And I believe with Darwin Núñez and him being in form, he would have got the goals that were necessary for us to win the game. So in the end, Jota ends up letting us down, basically. He let us down. And I have nothing else to say about that. Then, obviously, with the second yellow red card, the second red card for Liverpool, Klopp had to change his tactics again and decided to play a back five and then a midfield 3. That's it. No attackers. Just try and shut up shop and try and get a point as possible in order to just get something from this game. And we did very, very well. We did incredibly well. We fought to the very, very end. But however, Pedro Porro gets the ball in the right-hand side and drills the ball into the middle of the box. Matip in the right position there to clear the ball away, miskicks the ball and ends up putting it into the back of his own net. And Liverpool end up losing the game 2-1 and walking away with 0 points from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now, a lot of Liverpool fans, including myself, were a bit aggrieved by what's happened. Obviously, we lost the game. We have no problem in losing the game, but the circumstances that occurred where we arguably should have got a goal, we should have got a goal with what's happened, we felt as though something had to happen. Now, firstly, we'll get onto the Curtis Jones red card. I said this before. Again, it's a red card in my opinion. I can't do much about it. I think it's harsh. I think the only way it's a red card, in my opinion, is the fact that they have been consistent with this kind of stuff. I know for a fact Malo Gusto, the game week prior, had the exact same challenge, penalized and got himself a red card. By that logic, at least the fact they're being consistent. However, what my problem is not them being consistent. It's the fact that they're being consistent for the wrong decision. For me, it's not a red card. If anyone's played the game of football, those challenges happen on a very, very frequent basis. And Liverpool and the club would agree with that kind of challenge. As in, that kind of rule that the referee implemented is a rule that you could tell they've never played the game properly. You know, those challenges happen on grassroots level. And for that to be a red card, in my opinion, is harsh. It's way harsh. I'd say the same thing if at Malo Gusto, big up Don, I told him, look, I've seen the replay, I've seen the challenge. It's a harsh one. It's not a red card, in my opinion. Apparently, Casemiro had the same thing as well. If that's so, then I would say the same thing. I personally don't think it's a red card, but consistency-wise and the rules, it is a red card, and you can't argue with that, in my opinion. The second one is the big problem. It's the second big problem. But before we get to that, remember to like the video and leave your comments on what really happened. The Luis Diaz goal, or disallowed goal as it was. VAR did what they were asked to do. They checked the goal. It's been come out that they checked the goal. They checked the goal as if they check the goal and see if there's anything wrong with it, whether the on-field decision was the correct one. So, obviously, Liverpool felt there was something wrong with it, and they asked the referee, the PGMOL, to give them the audio of what actually happened during that game. So, Liverpool come out and got what they wanted. They asked for the audio, and they already did. So, the VAR operator, big up Josh for sort of summarizing what happened. The VAR operator, who could be heard on PGMOL's audio feed trying to stop the calamitous mistake that saw Luis Diaz's goal disallowed on Saturday, is a Dutch graduate who ordinarily not even speak during conversations between on-field officials and those in the VAR suite. Unfortunately for England and Cook, they ignored the advice from Abbey. They were likely to be surprised to hear him speaking on the live feed, although none of the VAR officials seemed able to react quickly enough. So, long story short, they checked the goal. Obviously, the exact quotes were, check complete, continue with the game. But them not realizing the fact that the on-field decision was offside, not onside. And this is the funny bit. Someone who is not even meant to be in part of the audio team comes out and said, guys, they're still playing. They haven't given the goal. Are you sure it's offside? No, they're like, check complete, it's onside. But the guy ends up saying, no, they're playing the game. They haven't given the goal. And that's when the Chuckle Brothers start to realize, oh, crap, we've actually messed up. We've messed up. It is literally a scene out of the Chuckle Brothers being like, to me, to you, to me. Like, it is ridiculous. And the next part is, well, we can't stop the game. The assistant said, stop the game and give the goal. But they're like, oh, we can't stop the game. It is what it is. We can't do anything. I think that's what Darren England said. And the incompetence of officials in this country ceases to amaze me. I didn't think they could be this incompetent, but no, they always tend to surprise me, and their level of incompetence hits a new level. And I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything. No one can do anything. It's something that we have to deal with. And obviously Liverpool were not too happy about it. And ends up putting up a statement. Liverpool Football Club acknowledges PGMOL's admission of their failures last night. It is clear that the correct application of the laws of the game did not occur, resulting in sporting integrity being undermined. Now, this is literally Liverpool saying, we acknowledge that the fact that you made the mistake. We get it. However, you were still incompetent. You still didn't do your job. In layman's terms, you were stupid on doing your job. You are literally incompetent, and you did not do the exact job that you were told to do. And we need to do something about it, because this is not the first time they've done it. They've been incompetent for the last 4 years, and they can't be getting away with this kind of stuff. And that's what Liverpool said to them. I know, in my opinion, is a little bit, as I'd like to say, diplomatic, but they were being a little bit euphemistic. They were being a little bit more gracious with the way they're saying it. But in layman's terms, they were like, the team that they were meant to conduct the VAR investigation, or not even the investigation, the actual on-field decision, were incompetent and stupid. That's literally what they just said. Obviously in a more nicer way. And I'm actually quite happy that my club's come out and just said, no, this can't stand. We need to sort something out. If it was me, I would have told Darren England, and I can't remember who the other official was, you're demoted. You go back to the training ground and you go through some training courses and you'll go and be refereeing in the championship. Earn back your stripes. But no, VAR, obviously everyone's mates in the refereeing world. So they get a little bit of a bly. And obviously Jurgen Klopp had to have a little say of himself on what really happened. And this is what he's come out and said. Oh, I do apologize. It's the wrong one. It is here. There we go. Jurgen Klopp in all his glory. He comes out and say, I think the only outcome for Tottenham versus Liverpool game is it should be replayed. It probably won't happen. I think it is so unprecedented. It didn't happen before. Now, Jurgen, you're my guy. I back you all the time. And I said it again, you're my guy. But this is entirely wrong. Even though Spurs benefited from this, we cannot take away what they've done, as in what they won the game in the end. And even though it was through arguably unjust ways, we can't criticize them. We can't take away what they did. You know, they still won. And what you're saying in terms of doing a replay is Spurs don't deserve this. We need to replay this because it should have been 1-0. That's not the way to go about it. That's not the way to go about it. If it was me, focus on the people that have actually messed up. Spurs didn't do anything. Spurs, I agree, benefited from it, but they weren't the ones that told Darren England and VAR to show up with some incompetence in their brains. They shouldn't be reprimanded. They shouldn't be part of the crossfire of this stupidity that surrounds VAR and the officiating in the English game. And I think Klopp, in my opinion, was wrong in that. However, if Jurgen, and this is going to sound very, very out of the blue, I'm stretching a little bit. If Jurgen is trying to build a siege mentality for this squad in the fact that it's Liverpool against the world, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Obviously, the players themselves feel a little bit unjust about it. Obviously, McAllister voiced his opinions about it on Instagram. Szoboszlai, Van Dijk has as well, and on Twitter as well. If you're trying to build a siege mentality where it's literally Liverpool against the entire world, this is the way to do it, and you are doing it the right way. Because this will come out with a lot of backlash from a lot of people, especially rival fans as well. And I think these players believe that they should have got something from this game. And for people to come out and say, oh, they're just whining a lot. They're crying about decisions. They're being bitter about it. They don't deserve it. This will galvanize the team. I have seen more from this team on Saturday that I've seen in the last 6 games prior. And that says a lot, because the last 6 games prior, we showed a lot of mentality coming back against certain teams and winning these games in a very convincing manner. This has shown me a lot more. And this game has shown me how these players, part of this team, your likes of your Szoboszlais, your McAllisters, your Van Dijks, your Robertsons, your Allisons, those are the players that can help you win league titles. Andrew Salas as well. I can't miss out the main man. Those are the kind of players that help you win league titles. Those are the players that have the mentality to go push on and win the major trophies and do what is necessary to help build a successful team. I have no doubts about it anymore. And this is why I believe this team could go on and challenge. This team has the capabilities of challenging for a league title. Not only going on and winning a Europa League, not only going on a decent run in one of the cup competition, domestic cup competitions. I'm talking challenge for the league title, win the Europa League, and have a decent run in one of the cup competitions. I truly believe that. These players have the mentality and they have the fire and the will to win these matches and knows what it takes. Even at the end of the game, Darwin Núñez going up to the fans, jeering them on, all the players appreciating and thanking the fans for their support. I know it sounds cringy. I know it sounds over the top. I know it's as typical Liverpool fans going over the top with, oh, this means more, that kind of stuff. No, these players know what it's about and know exactly what is expected of them to be at that top level. And I appreciate that. I 100% appreciate it. And if that helps us go on and win these major trophies, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm absolutely proud that these players are playing for the badge, and the fact players like your Soboslais, your McAllisters are representing Liverpool Football Club. These are players that we could actually back when you're coming to debates about other teams' players. We've got Soboslai, and I'm proud to say that we got Soboslai. I have no qualms in saying Soboslai is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. I have no qualms in saying that. And I think other Liverpool fans also have no qualms in saying that. And for the first time since probably the spring of 2022, when we're challenging for the quad, the fan base are all united. For the first time in almost a year and a bit, the fan base is united. The fan base knows are in the right direction and look at the right direction, looking forward. We've had a lot of divide between our fan base, whether it be FSG in, FSG out, whether it be Klopp in or Klopp out, shake it all about, all that nonsense that was happening. For the first time in a long while, we are all united. We are all fighting for what we believe this team could achieve, which is challenging for the Premier League, winning the Europa League, doing whatever it takes. And for the first time, everyone's on board with Klopp. Everyone's on board with the fact, okay, Klopp, you got your players. You've been a bit ruthless in the summer transfer window. Now let's see what you can do. And we're going to back you 100%. And this is what we needed. Last year, the whole fan base was divided. We don't know who to blame or what to blame. Now we've got a clear idea of what we could do. And it's only going to be better for the team. It's only going to galvanize the team, galvanize the management, galvanize the entire club. And that is something that we need to do. And that's something I believe we can do. These players have showed me enough that they can actually do it. And I'm incredibly proud of them. 100%, I'm incredibly proud of them. But in all the bad news of what's happened, Liverpool also didn't stop there. Liverpool also believed that they should have had a appeal. They should have had the Curtis Jones red card not be a red card. Obviously, it'll be a 3-game ban because of it's a straight red card. So Liverpool end up appealing the verdict, and the verdict's come back and said Curtis Jones is set to serve a 3-match Premier League suspension after an appeal to overturn the red card he received at Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday was unsuccessful. The midfielder was initially shown a yellow card for a challenge on Yves Bissouma in the 26th minute of the fixture at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. However, that was upgraded to a straight red following VAR intervention. Jones will now be eligible for the Reds' encounter with Brighton and Hove Albion, Everton and Nottingham Forest this month. Meanwhile, Diogo Jota will also serve a 1-match domestic suspension following his sending off for 2 yellow cards, ruling him out of Sunday's trip to Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, my personal opinion on this, the Jota one, I can live with. I can live with the fact that Jota is suspended and the fact that we have capable deputies such as your Luis Diaz, your Darwin Núñez, your Salah. I believe those kind of players are good enough to cover for the absence of Diogo Jota. However, the Curtis Jones one is a big, big miss. And I'll say this to everyone. Curtis Jones has been our most underappreciated player this entire season so far. The reason why we've been so good in certain games is because the combination of Jones, McAllister, and Soboslai has been on point. I think my personal opinion, the weak link in that team is McAllister. Jones is nowhere near a weak link in this team. Jones has actually come up and performed at a very high level, not to the level of Soboslai. In my opinion, Soboslai has been absolutely fantastic and incredible in this team. But Curtis Jones, I want to say he's far behind. I think what he's doing for the team and his sacrificing, retaining the ball, breaking up play, also getting into good positions to help his team either create an opportunity or get a shot away is vitally important, especially the goal against West Ham where Soboslai picks it up and crosses it in and Jones ends up tapping into the back of the net. It's unlucky. Obviously, it's called off offside, but that's what we needed. That's what we asked for. That's what made Jones be a starter of the team. And that kind of situations is what helps Liverpool go forward. And he will be a big miss for the next 3 games because he guarantees consistency. The one thing that Jones struggled with is consistency, but from the 18-game run that we had, where he played the majority of the games, he's been consistently good and consistently sacrificial for the team and helped the team in such a massive way. And to miss him for the next 3 games, especially against 2 very difficult oppositions for Liverpool, in the fact that it's Brighton away and also playing in the Merseyside derby, it will be incredibly tough. It will be incredibly tough. And especially the Merseyside derby, sometimes you need a little bit of scouse skill in your team to get you past that line, because they know what it's all about. I guarantee you, Trent and Curtis know what it needs to be done to win these kind of games. And him being out for those particular games will be a massive, massive miss, a massive, massive miss. And then that's my little Jones prop for the day. I think he doesn't get a lot of respect from certain players because his name is Curtis Jones, and there have been a lot of people that have certain agendas against the player. But hopefully this season he will prove to everyone that he deserves to have a place in the squad and he deserves to be a part of this team. I completely believe that he has earned that right. And I think a lot of fans need to have that sort of mentality as well, in my opinion. But people, I'll leave it there. I appreciate the time you've taken out to watch my video. I appreciate the fact that you've sort of delved into my thought process for this entire thing, you know, what Liverpool should have done, what Klopp's my opinion on what Klopp has said. I want your thoughts. I want your thoughts in the comments section below. Please give me your thoughts, whether you think I'm overreacting with the actual thought process of what I'm going through, or maybe you think I'm underreacting. Maybe you think I'm not being angry enough with the officials, or I'm not backing Klopp enough with his thought process. Or maybe you think I'm just, maybe you agree with me. Maybe you agree with my thought process. Or you agree that, look, Ram being level-headed, he's being very objective, and also he's bringing facts as well, which I always do on these streams. I do always bring facts to the table. I never talk out my rear end all the time. But people, I'll see you all tomorrow for the last-minute preview for the Liverpool versus Union San Jolois. I don't know how to say that name. I'll call them Union from now on. I'll see you for the preview for the Europa League game against Union. Last-minute preview. Go through the team, go through the expected scoreline, the big threats, and all that kind of stuff. As people say, it's the McAllister derby, so I'll be looking forward to it. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts on this whole situation. And lastly, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you get this out there to your mum, your dad, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your cousin, your pets, even your dog, your cat, even your hamster, even your damn hamster. Just get this out there, and we'll try and hit 250 subscribers. That's the main aim for us. And from there, we'll try and get 500. But again, 250 subscribers by the end of October would be a massive blessing. And I appreciate all the people that have been supporting the channel along the way. I will see you guys all tomorrow for the Europa League preview. And this is the Ram Stand, and peace.